Alrighty, buddy. Gonna have a good time today.
Woo!
Are you? I don't think I'm ready.
Yeah? Are you not?
I am, but
Yeah, I was gonna say.
it's very quiet.
There we go. Holy Jesus. Alright, you wanna drag that bitch off?
I didn't see where it went, so it took me a second.
We're starting off strong today, I swear to God.
It's me, Keiichi Mayabara. I'm a gamer. I game. I have gamer sex.
No, he doesn't.
That's so true. I'm sorry.
I pretend to have gamer sex. I saw a ceiling fan I was familiar with. Though I was groggy from sleep, I did notice that I was in my futon like I was every morning. I looked at my clock, and despite having turned in so late last night, I had awoken at precisely the same moment I always did.
You wouldn't know anything about that, would you, Tyler? The amount of pain that's in his eyes while he's looking at me right now, you wouldn't be able to understand.
I'm so low on sleep, but I guess you can really get up at the same time every day. The secrets of the human body never cease to amaze me. If I went back to sleep like this, I would definitely not be waking up again.
He dies. He dies in his sleep.
Yeah.
I spurred myself on and slipped out of my futon. Mom asked me about...
What?
Mom asked me about last night at breakfast. Apparently, we too had gotten a call if we knew where Rika-chan and Sadako were, and Mom vaguely understood that something serious was happening.
So did. Jeez, that voice.
Are you alive?
So then. No. So. Where. It's.
Keiichi.
So then, Keiichi. So then, you. Wow, why is it so hard to get into?
It's only been a week. You can't even blame it.
It's only been a week.
It hasn't even been a week. It's been like, what, 4 days?
No, that was last week. Last week it was like 3 days. So this week it's been a week.
Yeah, never mind. It's been a week.
So then, I don't know. So then, you were out late last night with all your friends looking for them.
Shit, Keiichi. I get that we just woke up, but save me the fucking yawn.
Until about 3, I think. Yeah.
Did you find them? Rika-chan and Sadako-chan, I mean.
Crunch. I wearily bit into my toast. It really didn't have any taste.
It's COVID.
Just then, we heard the chime go, ding dong.
It's a bad joke. Like, I'm sick of those jokes.
It's kind of funny, though.
I looked up at the clock and saw that it was about 5 minutes past my regular meeting time with Rena.
Fuck! Alright, I have one last thing to do.
Oh, God.
It'll take me literally 20 seconds.
Alright, cut this.
No, you don't have to cut. You don't have to stop. You don't have to do anything. I'm walking like a foot away. I'm not gonna go to the gym if I don't put the shirt on now.
If he doesn't put out the shirt?
If I don't, I'm literally not going to fucking go if I don't put on the shirt. Because I'm going to finish Higurashi and be like, fuck man, I'm tired, and then it's probably gonna be like an hour until I eat. I'm just gonna go. I haven't played like a video game that I wanted to play in like 48 hours, and I still have this programming homework to do. I don't want to do any of it. I'm just gonna fucking play Skyrim and do nothing.
Yeah.
I meant to put on the shirt before we started when I changed pants, but I forgot. But I'm like, I have to put the shirt on or I'm not going to the fucking gym after this.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite day too, it's bench press day. Or it's not even my favorite day, I just like doing bench. One of these days I'm gonna bench my body weight again, I swear to God. Then y'all motherfuckers are gonna watch out.
Okay.
It was her at the door.
Good morning.
Sorry, Rena. I removed all dialogue from the game.
Did you get any... Did you get any sleep? Did you?
I think I slept for a few hours. You could probably count them on a chicken's toes, though. Shut up. Rena seemed pretty sleep-deprived as well. There was something missing from her usual spirit.
Are you Keiichi?
No, that's me asking. That's me asking.
Yeah, okay.
Are you going to school?
Yeah, I think it would be better that way.
She said, smiling, albeit stiffly. Rin was probably worrying her heart out about those two as well. Even so, she wanted to go to school.
Keiichi-kun, if you stay home today, I think you'd just be worrying non-stop and sleeping. I don't want that. So let's go to school together.
Rin is kind of based in this timeline.
Yeah?
Alright, wait just a moment. I'll get ready.
She's kind of based in all timelines. You just don't know it.
She's not based in the first timeline. She's kind of cringe in the first
You just got a
timeline.
DM?
He DMs
Fucking
me.
Matt! I swear to God!
Alright, you know what? Hold on. Fucking...
Matt, if you can hear this, I'm gonna kill you.
I was just a little bit happy about Rina mustering that much consideration for me. We went to the place where we'd usually meet up with Mion, but she was nowhere to be found. We were a little bit late today, so we thought she'd be waiting for us.
I don't even have to tell him anymore. He just knows. He knows when I look at him that it means move the fucking mouse or I'm gonna kill you.
I already read that dialogue.
I guess Mii-chan didn't wake up today, huh?
Ah, that's right. For her, it wasn't just yesterday. She was up all night looking for the mayor the night before last, too. We waited for a bit. Time passed until it got to the point where it was okay for us to go on alone, and we exchanged glances.
It was just say it's Keiichi.
Keiichi, yeah. What do we do? Wait a little longer? At that point, my brain, which had finally been woken up by the morning air, recalled the ominous words Ooishi-san had left me with last night. The leader of the three families were disappearing.
The leaders.
Liters, like the drink.
You said leader. It's like, oh, the leader of the three families.
Yeah, bro. The Sonozakis.
Right.
Man.
The leaders of the three families were disappearing one after the other. And next, it might be the Sonozaki's leader. Could Mion have... No, that couldn't be it.
Let's go. Keiichi-kun, let's go. Let's let her sleep for today.
Rina gave me a pat on the back. Mion. She's still here, right?
Did you say something?
Oh, nothing. Just talking to myself. Well, let's get moving. The two of us headed to school by ourselves.
Mion's dead, bro. Don't wiggle your eyebrows at that. Yo, if Mion's dead, that means I don't have to voice her. Let's go! I hope Mion's dead.
On the way, we saw a bunch of our classmates accompanied by their parents. It even looked like some of them were being taken to school by car. Surprisingly, the principal was also standing watch at the school gate. I'd never seen that before.
Good morning. Good morning.
The principal was bowing to our classmates' guardians. The wooden sword leaning next to him was a little ominous.
It's like I love that.
He's got a sword, dude. He'll fuck your shit up.
It's really just like the kendo sword he has.
Yeah, he's got a fucking kendo stick. He'll roll your shit, dude. Mayabara-kun.
Mayabara-kun, good morning. Ryugu-kun, good morning.
Rena?
Good morning. Your teacher has something important to say, so head straight to the classroom. All right?
The one time in the game where Tyler has to read back to back.
Right?
Rena and I said nothing. The madness that only existed at night had finally crawled out into the sunlight.
It's a good line.
That's what it felt like.
He's kind of spitting bars with that.
Okay.
That's me.
It's you!
Oh, good morning, everyone.
The hushed conversations.
Suddenly it
Spreading
sounded
for a
cause-
while now. The hushed conversations that had been spreading for a while now all disappeared like an illusion the moment our teacher walked in the door. Silence dominated the classroom. The principal came in with our teacher as well. This was clearly not a normal morning. Are Rika and Sadako dead? Do I not get to voice Rat for the rest of this chapter?
They've been gone since last night.
Oh, first, the principal has something important to tell everyone. Go ahead, Mr. Principal.
I like how
She changes. It's a different teacher every line. The principal cleared his throat and approached the dais.
I'm sure some of you already know this.
The classroom was dead silent, much like Rika and Sadako. Everyone was staring at Rika and Sadako's empty seats.
Rip.
The principal briefly and simply declared that Rika-chan and Sadako had gone missing. There wasn't a single person in the classroom who didn't already know. There seemed to be many, however, who couldn't accept it as truth. It had been confirmed to them now by the principal's words. There were sobs throughout the classroom, and I heard a kid crying. Isn't that what? Whatever. They steadily spread throughout the whole room. The big-hearted principal wasn't able to keep his cool either.
Hey, teacher.
Okay, everyone, pay attention. From today on, your parents or guardians will be taking you to school. For those of you whose parents can't do so, you'll be coming here in groups. I made a handout, so read it carefully and be sure to show it to your parents. Understand? The teacher's voice was a little abrasive.
A little.
Not even she could conceal the strain that she felt from this unprecedented, abnormal situation. They should have just canceled school today. However, Rina told me that the school was also like a nursery for the students whose parents both worked, so some of them wouldn't want school to be canceled. Well then, let's begin the lesson. Class president? She's absent, I see. Then whoever is on day duty, let me hear it.
Alright.
That feeling of wanting to maintain an everyday atmosphere, even if only in school, precisely because our lives had been messed up, was something that I agreed with at this point. Did you not like that day-in voice? As for the teacher, who always had her lunch in the staff lounge, she ate in the classroom today. I had to laugh at her curry bento. What?
What?
I had to laugh at her curry bento, which was just a rumor until now, but there was nobody to laugh with me. Me and the boys laughing at your food. Rina brought her chair and lunch over to my seat. Today, it was only the two of us. The fact that we didn't need to drag any other desks over was sad.
Keiji-kun, I'm sleepy.
Yeah. I don't feel like sleeping anymore, though. In fact, I'm jealous of the people that could sleep at a time like this. They've got nerves of steel.
You're right.
I was sleepy this morning, but my drowsiness had dissipated. I know how to read, after coming to school and constantly feeling this incredible tension. Did you know I passed English with an A? Rena's bento box didn't have its usual luster. That was to be expected. Rena was up for a long time last night, too. She wouldn't have had time to make her lunch beforehand, since it's not like she would have gotten up early this morning.
Grab anything you want. Go ahead. That's Keiji.
Oh, grab anything you want. Go ahead. You can admit that my bento is better today.
Oh, okay. And then I'll have some. Wow, chikuwa roll with perella and cheese. That's in. Is this? Do I have this right?
Maybe? Yeah?
Wow, chikuwa roll with perella and cheese. That's interesting.
We're taking a break in 4.5 hours. If we're not done in 4.5 hours, we're taking a break in 4.5 hours.
All right.
Because that is when my barbecue comes out of the crock pot and I'm shredding it and eating it.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know that now.
Rena, yours might have ready-made food in it, but it's pretty good too. I realized that the two of us were desperately trying to brighten the afternoon mood to its usual level as much as we could. I looked around the classroom, and it seemed like we were the only ones trying to do so, surrounded as we were by gloominess.
Ooh, just the two of us sharing our lunches together like this. Instead of, well, sort of like something. Ow!
Rena's fucking retarded.
I legitimately just like had a moment of, is Ooishi here? With the oofufu there. It's like, what?
Ooishi just comes bursting. No, Rena unzips like from the SpongeBob episode, and it's just Ooishi under her.
Our laughter grew quieter. I was the first one to mess up. Sorry. I mean, well, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's not your fault.
This is the worst thing I've ever experienced in this game so far.
Yeah.
This is hands down the most awkward this game has ever been. This is awful. Even like the Mion and Shion reveal was not this awkward. That was just funny. This is just awkward.
Our chopsticks both stopped moving. We couldn't keep it up anymore.
Rena begins violently sobbing. Keiichi?
Yeah. Rika-chan, Sadako. I wonder where they were, or where they went. Those words might have sounded too miserable. Everyone was thinking it, using roundabout ways to address the topic, but I came right out and said it. I heard Rena catch her breath.
Yesterday, while you were gone, I heard a bunch of things. So I'll tell you what I know, okay?
Sorry again about last night. Go ahead.
What is he apologizing for?
Alright, whatever. At that time, since they had arrived for support, Rena was helping the Ladies' Society cook the miso soup we'd had. They reported all of the information the villagers had gathered, and Rena said she overheard it.
They didn't know anything important, though.
Is this Keiichi?
Yep.
No, this is Rena.
No, that's...
Alright, I'll take it.
They didn't know anything important though, did they? Rika-chan and Sadako went home after school, and they apparently went somewhere on their bikes, but other than that...
Oh, yeah.
Mion had told me yesterday, we had no clues.
Yeah. The police also said that they probably went on their bikes to go play somewhere as soon as they got home. If they were going out to play somewhere on the bike. Why am I having such a hard time right now?
It's that Red Bull.
No, it's not. Keiichi-kun, if they were going out to play somewhere on the bikes, right after getting home, then they might have gone into town. So I guess they concluded they disappeared while in Okinomiya. The police were saying how they were going to expand the search. The police were saying how they were going to expand the search to Okinomiya in the morning.
But we know better than that.
We know better.
In town. It makes sense why we couldn't find them even though we searched all of Hinamizawa then, but we also didn't find Kimiyoshi. Still, something didn't fit. I had no basis? Yeah, I had no basis for thinking that. Just a gut feeling. I revealed something to Rika-chan that was likely very important to her that day. Then, Rika-chan had told me to leave it to her. And then, what did she say? Oh right, if she didn't work hard, then something bad might happen to the dog too, I think. With all the talks of dogs and cats, I still haven't the faintest idea what she really meant. But, it might have been Rika-chan's way of saying that this was a race against time. Damn it! I'd selfishly pushed my anxiety on Rika-chan and tried to run away. When I thought about it, I shouldn't have run back then. I should have asked her more about the dogs and the cats. The more I think back on it, I really screwed up. Anyway, I don't think Rika-chan was in a situation where she would just go off to play somewhere. Of course, I didn't have any evidence or conviction to base that on. It was just a hunch.
I don't think she gonna go into town.
It was Keiichi. It was Keiichi. I'm having a hard time with Rena right now. I don't know why.
He's choking. I don't think she'd go into town.
Keiichi-kun, you think so too, Keiichi-kun? I agree. Rika-chan and Sadako-chan must have disappeared in Hinamizawa.
I looked back at Rena, startled. I could hear the conviction in those words. Without replying to my gaze, she took her bento box and went to the hallway.
I'm gonna rinse this out.
She timed that in a way that broke off the conversation. Suddenly, I got the feeling that the next thing she had to say would be hard to say aloud in the classroom. I hurriedly grabbed my bento box and followed her. Keiichi picking up on social clues!
Ooh, he's not autistic.
I'm so fucking proud of him. I'm cutting that.
Good luck.
Fuck you. Rena didn't go to the kitchenette, but rather to the water fountains out back, where students seldom went. The water flowed down onto our bento boxes. During that time, Rena didn't say a word. Then, after making sure there were no other students around, she finally opened her mouth to speak.
Keiichi-kun, the whole thing about Rika-chan and Sadako-chan going into town to play and the disappearing, that didn't make sense for some reason, so I decided to investigate a little bit for myself.
Who did you ask? What did you ask them about?
I asked the Lady Society all kinds of things.
You know what I realized Ryukishi, or at least the Manga Gamer translation does sometimes?
What's that?
So you see how it says Rena's dialogue and then there's no end quote?
Oh yeah, they keep forgetting to put the end quote in there.
Yeah. They at least are pretty good on the first quote, which
Yeah.
works.
If they missed the first quote, that'd be really bad.
Because the first quote at least shows you where it cuts off, you know? But they've missed the fucking end quote 24/7. Mm-hmm. Sorry. You asked the Lady Society.
I asked the Ladies Society all kinds of things. There was a lot of tofu in the miso soup yesterday, remember? The old lady from the Tomata Tofu shop came too.
The Tomata Tofu shop. Oh, I remember. That was one of the stores on the road leading to the hospital. Those huge lumps of tofu dancing in the bathtub like cistern always looked so nice and refreshing.
The old lady the old lady says she remembers Sadako-chan stopping to buy tofu. My intonation is just all over the place and it's driving me insane.
He's molding.
On my the old Keiichi-kun, the old lady says she remembers Sadako-chan stopping to buy tofu there on the way home from school.
Tofu? Well, it's on the way home, right? How is that a clue?
Just listen. Do you remember when we went to Rika-chan's house?
Yeah, there was no, yeah.
Rena stepped away from the sinks and spread her arms wide to recreate the space of Rika-chan's room.
I hope you're ready for Detective Rena. The fuck?
Detective Rena is kind of based.
There was a pot on her gas cooker. There was miso soup in it, and there was miso soup in it. I think there was probably about half of it inside. The rest was in the refrigerator. They must have been planning to make chilled tofu. It was on a plate in a plastic wrap.
As Rena explained, she walked around as if she was really going through Rika-chan's room. Still, Rena, why does this matter?
You know, every great detective
Has
a little bit on the spectrum.
a little bit on the spectrum.
What normal human being logs all of this and can go through the whole fucking situation?
Listen, man, Rena is the fucking most based. You just don't know.
He's a Rena simp.
I'm not a
bro.
simp. I'm a stan for Rena. No,
Alright.
I simp for someone else. For a very different character.
That's fair. He's a Rena stan. I'll give it to him.
Yeah,
I'm an Ooishi stan. I get it.
People love Rena for very good reason, because she's like almost best girl.
All right. All right.
Keiichi-kun, when you make miso soup, you put the tofu in last. That means Rika-chan or Sadako-chan, whoever was cooking, was standing there making it up until right before dinner time.
Right up until dinner time? Wasn't everyone saying that their bikes weren't around, so they must have gone to play somewhere by themselves?
The trash in the countertop bin was put in there really awkwardly, too. Rika-chan makes most of their food and lunches, but occasionally Sadako-chan does it too. So, Sadako-chan was cooking that night.
So that means that Sadako at least didn't go somewhere to play. She was preparing dinner?
Yeah. Then I took a look at the rice cooker and there was rice for two still in there.
So she made dinner for the both of them, but neither of them ate it. Is that it? Rena nodded.
So next, I looked in the fridge. There was some chilled tofu made from the other half that they bought. That's not all either. There were a whole bunch of plates with side dishes for dinner, and all of them were in plastic wrap.
You usually plastic wrap things so that you can have leftovers for the next day. My mom does it all the time too, using them in breakfast or lunch.
That's right. Use plastic wrap to save leftovers for later. So the fact that they were in the fridge means that they didn't plan on eating them that night, at least.
Is that what it means?
Keiichi-kun, I think a little harder.
Rolled.
The dinner was totally untouched and wrapped up. What do you think that means?
Well, that means they didn't need to eat dinner anymore. So they would have gone out to eat, or ordered takeout.
Or
It must have been really sudden, too. If they had decided to do that beforehand, they wouldn't have made anything, but there was dinner for two of them. That means when Sadako-chan was making the dinner, they really thought they were gonna eat it until right before they didn't.
Yeah, I wanna say something, but I don't want to look like a moron, so I just.
So then, the theory about the two of them going out to play and then disappearing is wrong.
what do you want to say?
My thing already got answered. I was gonna say like what Keiichi was saying,
Okay.
but I didn't want to look like a jackass and be like, "This is the conclusion," and then Keiichi goes, "No, it's not."
Yep. They disappeared after making dinner, and right before they ate it. Probably around 7 o'clock.
All right, Sherlock Holmes. Jesus. Where would they have gone at the time like this, by themselves, without eating?
That's obviously where... Keiichi-kun, that's obviously where this is leading. Keiichi-kun, do you remember? On the fold-out table, there were things like soy sauce and a chopstick holder.
There might have been something like that. I didn't remember.
The container for the soy sauce? It was empty. There wasn't even a drop left. Chilled tofu wouldn't taste good without it. Jeez. So I looked under the sink and for the larger bottle of soy sauce they have.
I like how Rina just knows their entire room backwards and forwards.
Yeah, see? You sure know a lot about where they keep stuff.
You are literally just Keiichi. Like, this has happened more than like 3 times. This is not a pattern. It's it's just the truth.
Did you know Ryukishi actually wrote Keiichi based off of me?
Keiichi-kun, I've been to...
It's so hard to get. I don't know why it's so difficult to get into her voice right now.
I've been to Rika-chan's house and cooked for them before.
Rena cleared her throat, her face returning to a serious expression.
Then, when I opened the cabinet, the big bottle of soy sauce wasn't there at all.
It wasn't there. What does that mean?
Everything I'm gonna say from here on is just Rena's idea. So please, listen until the end without saying anything.
He's not gonna do that. Or he actually might. Last night, Sadako was making dinner like normal. Rika-chan usually watched TV until the food was ready, so she was probably lying down watching a variety show or something. Sadako put the tofu in the miso soup, and right when dinner was about to be ready, she noticed that they were out of soy sauce. So Rika-chan, who had nothing to do, brought the big bottle of soy sauce to a neighbor's house to borrow theirs.
Keiichi.
I don't really know my neighbors that well. Would people be willing to just give her soy sauce?
Could you imagine pulling up to your neighbor's house and be like, yo, can I get like enough soy sauce for dinner tonight? And they just go, fuck you, and then slam the door in your face?
Right.
Especially in fucking Japan. Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Right.
That is the American equivalent of going next door and asking for sugar.
Yeah.
And then them slamming the door in your face and being like, fuck you, dude. What a psycho.
Yeah. It's not all that uncommon in Hinamizawa.
See? Ryukishi wrote this entire novel series off of me.
So Rika-chan rode her bike out to get some soy sauce. No matter how long Sadako waited though, Rika-chan didn't come back. So then, look at how innocent she looks in this flashback of their incoming brutal murders. So then Sadako called up the house where Rika-chan was going.
Hello, Sadako-chan. Would Rika happen to be imposing on you?
Something like that. Them,
The other person.
then the other person must have replied with something like this.
Fucking manga gamer, I swear to God.
You wanna?
We have plenty of food here, so you should come too, Sadako-chan. Rika-chan has already eaten. I think that's how they called her out there.
Sadako called Rika a few names in private and wrapped up dinner she had made for them. She put it in the fridge so that she could use it for breakfast and lunch the next day.
So then, hypothetically, the people that rolled them are their neighbors.
Yeah.
Then Sadako got on her bike too.
But who are their neighbors?
Ooishi.
Ooishi. He lives in Okinomiya. What are you talking?
No, he lives in Hinamizawa. He has a summer home in Okinomiya, and then he actually lives in Hinamizawa.
Gotcha.
He's their neighbor. So what happened is Rika-chan got there, and she was like, "Oh, Ooishi, can I get some soy sauce?" And Ooishi was like, "No, foo," and then hit her over the head with a club, and then dragged her inside. And then Sadako called like, "Hello, this is Rat." And Ooishi was like, "Oh, Rika-chan has already eaten dinner. Come on over." And then Sadako pulled up and opened the door and was like, "Hey, is Rika-chan here?" And then Ooishi hits her over the head with Rika-chan, and then drags her inside and puts them in the disappearance dungeon.
All right.
And then they never get seen again.
All right.
Ooishi's the killer.
Lock it in. Theory.
Yeah, log it in, write it down. Ooishi is the killer, confirmed. I know I'm just built better, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know the answers already. I actually spoiled the entire series for myself.
He just Googled it.
Yeah, just so that I could look cool. Yeah, Ooishi's the killer, that's the reveal.
And headed for the house where Rika-chan was.
Could you imagine, though, if Ooishi actually killed both of them? That'd be really funny.
It'd be really funny.
Why'd you say it like that?
No reason. So I would love to put a flash of something on there, but I can't.
Okay, but this is already pretty strange. You don't normally make so much food that you can give it to people who suddenly arrived at your house. A veteran housewife would never normally make so much food that she could feed 2 extra people, compared to those private and casual housewives. Could it have just been coincidence that they made too much?
Keiichi-kun, it's still unthinkable.
Rina flatly denied me,
It's
much
still-
like when I asked her out last week. Since Rika-chan knew that Sadako-chan had worked really hard to make dinner for them, didn't she? Oh, this is Rika.
Since
Or not Rika, Rena.
Rika-chan knew that Sadako-chan had worked really hard to make dinner for them, didn't she? No, this is Keiichi.
Is this Keiichi?
It's Keiichi.
Am I tripping balls?
Rena doesn't have a question mark exclamation point in her fucking... When she talks. She never does that.
I guess I'm tripping balls. Since Rika-chan knew that Sadako had worked really hard to make dinner for them, didn't she? No matter what kind of food she was offered, she wouldn't let Sadako-chan's dinner go to waste. This was only circumstantial evidence in Rena's guesswork. Even so, it was all extremely convincing. It was the only ray of hope we had to topple this situation, bereft of clues.
Bereft, yeah.
Bereft. Then Rena, where did Rika-chan go to get soy sauce? That was the heart of it. It would have to be somewhere she'd be comfortable with asking for soy sauce, and somewhere where Sadako wouldn't think it too suspicious that she'd been invited for dinner. So who was it? Sonozaki. Rena slowly shook her head.
That's all for Rena's guesses. These are all just ideas, okay? Keep them a secret from the police.
It's the Sonozakis. That's where they went, bro.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. What is there to hide? Even if only half of what you say is right, it still would be a good clue for all of this.
Keiichi-kun, this all means suspecting someone from Hinamizawa. We can't suspect anyone without a good reason.
Sonozaki! I saw a few girls coming over to rinse out their bento boxes. Rena cut the conversation short there and returned to the classroom. I stayed there alone, my body bathed in the lively voices of the cicadas. Let's think about this. In my own way, Rena had barely any information to go on, and yet she reasoned out that much. So there should be something that only I, who knew far more than Rena, could deduce. Because I'm cool and sexy and hot. Ooishi-san said this last night too, but this incident was definitely occurring within Hinamizawa. Rena might not have wanted to believe it, but it's basically a given that the culprit is someone from the village. The trigger for everything was when the four of us trespassed in the forbidden storehouse. Somebody saw us going in there. For the culprits, breaking the taboo was a crime punishable by death. So that night, Tomotage Flash and Takano-san were sacrificed. There were two left. Shion and myself. We get no Keiichi sprite. Cringe! However, before the culprits bore their fangs on Shion and me, they went after the mayor to whom Shion had confessed her sins. Next, they went for Rika-chan to whom I'd confessed my sin. Then what about Sadako? Just a stray bullet? By itself, Rika-chan being sacrificed after I'd told her everything was mortifying, but Sadako, who was sacrificed for no reason, wasn't that all the more regrettable? Everything was my fault! Oh no! Who would be the next to disappear? Would it be Shion and me next time? Why weren't the culprits going for Shion and me right away, though? If they had enough power to erase the mayor and Rika-chan, then why not just get rid of Shion and me? If they went for us, well, I wouldn't like it, but I could at least tolerate it. What I couldn't forgive was them getting rid of those we'd confessed to. Now that I think of it. Yesterday, Shion said something alarming. She felt like someone was watching her. So then, was someone watching me as well? Strangely though, I hadn't felt anything like that up until now. Even though I'm the root cause of everything, I had never once had that impression. Maybe that was simply because Shion was more cautious than me, and I was just careless. That's another story though. Well, let's get back on track. Why weren't the culprits going after Shion and me? Wow. I felt that's where the key to this lay. Could it be Was I making a big assumption that I shouldn't have been? Oh, whoops. I thought and thought, but couldn't come up with an answer. The one thing I understood was that I was a concerned party to this case, and that I had the duty to watch over it until everything gets resolved.
That was just lunch, bro.
Yeah.
That's a lot to digest for just fucking lunch.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh, duh.
You gotta read it.
Yeah, did you know that you have to read in a visual novel? The only thing I understood, and that I had a duty to watch over it until everything gets resolved. I heard the ring of the bell declaring the end of lunch break. Would somebody else disappear tonight? If nobody else did, then I wanted them to get rid of me tonight for sure, and then put an end to all of this. Shion's hysterical voice on the phone last night came back to mind. Wait, didn't you miss Shion's call last night?
No. No, he called. They talked.
And then he called Rika. He called Rena.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's right.
Shion said she told Kimiyoshi. Then Keiichi realized that Rika was in a similar situation. He hung up. They stopped. They went, searched.
Yeah.
Then Ooishi drove him home.
Yeah. A lot happened that day.
Yeah. So I forgot that was like the same day.
Yeah.
They planned to murder those close to us first, make us as miserable as possible, and only then would they kill us.
Mayabara-kun! Lunch break is over. Go back to the classroom. That was the principal. Who would have guessed?
Mayabara-kun, lunch break is over. Go back to the classroom.
Sounds like he just had a schizo breakdown for a minute there. At the principal's urging, I returned to the classroom, which was quiet as the streets at night.
How do you tell me to ring this fucking bell, bro?
There were a lot of parents picking up their children after school. It was just like a kindergarten. The students whose parents didn't come went home as a group. We left school with everyone else, following the assigned route. Even while leaving, nobody said anything funny. They all looked like exhausted mountaineers, silently marching through the mountains. I don't know what happened to me trying to read there. As we left, one after another, or as we went, one left, and then another, and in the end of it, it was just Rena and me. I was supposed to escort Rena all the way to her house, but she declined. Will you be alright? It's not safe to go alone.
Keiichi-kun, it would be just as dangerous for you to go home by yourself after bringing me back, Keiichi-kun. It's still light out anyway. I'll be fine.
Rena disappears from eye range, and then Keiichi just hears a gun. Yep, Rena dies. I see. Then be careful, okay?
Yeah. Huh? Isn't that a policeman?
Ooishi, 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 Ooishi. Rena pointed towards my house. Ooishi, Ooishi, Ooishi. There was a car stopped in front of it. Ooishi! Fom! Fom! Out of that car came Ooishi-san.
Manga gamer?
Manga gamer. It's been years. It's been like years since it's been out. How did you not fix this fucking shit?
He must have been waiting for my return to ambush me. Ooishi-san started walking over, wearing that annoying grin. Ooishi Pog! Rena, you should go. If you get involved with him, you'll be here for hours.
But, what do the police want from you? With you?
Rena's a good person. Even when I made a fuss over Rika-chan's disappearance, she never asked me why I did. She could have been suspecting me ever since then, and that would have been okay. Even so, she still hadn't asked me anything. She didn't try to pressure me into revealing the truth. I'm not the culprit.
I know that.
That said, I can't say that I'm totally uninvolved with this incident. Rena simply listened, smiling like she always did. Even though I had insinuated I was related to the incident, she didn't look at me as though she were looking at something dirty. I'll tell you next time.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
He said that because he thinks he's going to die tonight.
Yeah.
So then he doesn't have to tell Rena.
Yeah, that's totally what.
That's incredibly based!
Get going then.
Keiichi's like bleeding out on the floor, and he's like,
Rena, I'll tell you when you're older.
and then she leaves, and he just goes, ugh, it dies.
Rena gave me a slight bow and trotted away, leaving me alone with Ooishi-san, who walked over.
Hello, welcome home, my brother-son.
Hello.
It looks like your parents aren't here. My, I was in a bit of a spot.
He came all the way to my house? I could only thank my good fortune that my parents were absent. Since neither of them was around at this hour, they would probably be back late. I think Dad got called out on business. I don't think he'll be back until later.
I see. Well, that is convenient, I suppose. We can do this without giving your parents any strange ideas.
Keiichi's fucking the chief policeman. Or not chief,
Yeah.
he's fucking one of the chief detectives.
Ooishi-san pushed my back, prompting me to walk.
Ooishi is so incredibly based. I love him.
It seemed like he wanted me to get in the car. Are you taking me to the police station? I wasn't the culprit, but I was the cause of everything. It wouldn't be weird if he wanted to investigate me. That kind of gave me a resigned feeling.
No, I just want to stand around talking. We can just talk in the car. No, I just don't want to stand around talking. We can just talk in the car. That's all. Calm now. Don't be shy.
He can't, like, invite him into his house. I mean, even if you're Keiichi and you hate this guy, right? Wouldn't it just be better to, like, invite him in so that you can, like, make tea and, like, eat and be comfortable?
But the car is just so much more claustrophobic
Yeah, but, like...
and like imposing.
But, like, at least try and, like, make Ooishi own up to, like, fuck you, we're doing it in the car so I have a better ability to roll you.
He opened the back door and urged me inside. If I got in, I wouldn't have a very easy time getting out. If I said no, however, then this man might really handcuff me and take me away. I couldn't refuse. I could only accept in good grace.
I mean, like, literally, at this point, you're just like, Ooishi, can we just go inside and, like, have some tea? Please?
The inside of the car had been cooled too much by the air conditioner, and there was a rusty smell coming from the filter, which must have been cleaned out only rarely.
Before Keiichi.
My brother-san, is it too cold?
As I say, before Keiichi got in, Ooishi, like, cut his hand and poured blood in his air fucking AC to make it awful.
Jeez. I'll turn the car off.
He turned off the engine, and it suddenly became quiet, and the voices of the Higurashi, with all their cool loneliness, snuck inside.
Quack, 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 quack.
Quack, 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 quack. It sounded to me like a chorus of voices, lamenting my exorbitant punishment for having harbored such foolish curiosity. For a few moments, while listening to those voices, I myself lamented the days that had been twisted and distorted since that night. Ooishi-san, as if waiting for me to voluntarily begin talking, lit a cigarette and listened to the Higurashi. The silence became deafening, and I was the one who folded first.
I was gonna say, you really think Ooishi would ever fold in this situation?
How's the investigation going?
The investigation? Of what? Of what? There have been so many. What do you mean, Nufu?
All of them.
Well, alright then. They're officially secret investigations, and we're under a media blackout, but I'll let you in on them. Then shall we start from the first incident?
The freak deaths of Tomatake Flash and Takano-san on the night of the Watanagashi.
On this one, embarrassingly enough, we haven't made any progress at all. First of all, Tomatake-san.
Flash.
There you go. There are indications on his body that he was assaulted by a group of people. I'm having a hard time again.
I hope that Keiichi dies like Takano-san at the end of this game.
Burned alive?
Yeah, and that at the end of every game, Keiichi dies like a different character that dies on the Watanagashi.
Alright. Alright.
It'd be funny.
First of all, Tomatake-san, there were indications on his body that he was assaulted by a group of people, but we have no explanation for him clawing out his own throat and dying.
Previous universe Keiichi does.
We suspect an overdose of a stimulant or something, but we didn't detect anything.
What about Takano-san?
The same. We're in the dark. Autopsies for those who are burned to death are real tough. We believe she was doused in gasoline after she was strangled. That one falls under the Gifu Prefecture's police department. They haven't been very cooperative, even though it's happened in our territory. Oh, that's not really relevant, though.
So the police didn't know anything other than the fact that the victims died inexplicably.
Nonetheless, the times when the incidents occurred have been generally placed right after the festival ended. It's a bit uncertain in Takano-san's case, but the likely prospect is that she was murdered. It's a bit uncertain in Takano-san's case, but the likely prospect is that she was murdered at about the same time as Tomatake-san.
Flash.
Then dumped in the mountains in Gifu.
Why would they bring a dead body all the way to the mountains? They should have just brought Tomatake Flash out there too.
Oh my, brother-san, you're quite sharp. You don't know that? Of course, I do believe there's something we need to... I do believe that is something we need to be attentive of. There are a bunch of other suspicious things. But this is about all I can tell you at this point.
How about the mayor? Have there been any clues? Having exhausted that topic, I changed the subject otherwise. I changed the subject. Otherwise, he might turn the conversation on me.
We investigated his movements on the day he disappeared. We didn't find anything that could provide any clues, but I'll tell you about it anyway.
The mayor,
Kiichiro.
Kimoshima.
Kimoshima.
Yeah, I wanted to read Kimoshima, yeah. Kimiyoshi. Apparently he was suffering from severe hemorrhoids.
People who've lived a long time have an unusual amount of pride. So the mayor hadn't been telling anyone that he was going to a proctologist at a certain university hospital in Shishibone. On the day he disappeared, he had an appointment. He had an appointment for a checkup, so he went out first thing in the morning.
Even I knew that big hospitals, like university hospitals, had a really long waiting time. Apparently people would get in line hours beforehand, even if they had an appointment.
His exam ended at 1 p.m. After that, he ate up a light meal at the hospital restaurant and passed the time reading a magazine. We know this because of a receipt. We know this because of a receipt we found in his wallet at his house.
There was nothing suspicious at all about that.
That day, he had planned to go to a meeting in the assembly hall. That day, he had planned to go to a meeting in the assembly hall that the. Fuck me. I'm having such a hard time. That day, he had planned to go to a meeting in the assembly halls in the evening.
Oh, my bad. He was supposed to return home with plenty of time to spare, but while he was on the train coming back, there was an accident. Seems it delayed him a bit, and he only got back to his house right before the meeting was scheduled to start. His family witnessed a very hectic mayor leaving to go to the assembly hall at the shrine. What was the meeting about? He disappeared on his way back home, right?
So 3 families and the essential members of the town assembly were at the meeting. We think they are discussing how to deal with the serial death accidents that had happened again this year.
So then, on his way home, the old man who had treated Shion like his own daughter, he was a dependable person who would encourage Shion whenever she felt pressured by anxiety, and yet, Shion's painful voice struck me right in the heart. And the cock.
Go ahead.
He's so disappointed in me.
What's the matter?
I was taken aback by how strange my own voice sounded. What was it that just surprised me?
What surprised him?
What surprised him? I have to check the log. Dependable encouraged Shion whenever she felt pressured by anxiety, and yet painful voice struck him right in the heart. Oh fuck.
Were you paying attention the past 2 minutes?
Yeah, because they're talking about the disappearance of the mayor. He would have disappeared after the meeting.
They're talking about the schedule, his
Yeah.
schedule, and he would have disappeared after the meeting.
Yeah.
And then he goes to think about.
Shion and Rika-chan and Sadako-chan.
No, let's just
No, we're just talking
Just-
about the mayor.
slow down here.
He disappeared after the meeting. When would he have
And-
talked to Shion?
When would he have talked to Shion? If he had disappeared after the meeting.
When would he have talked to Shion?
This is what
Yeah.
this is what Keiichi's
Yeah.
just realized.
Because he was gone all morning because he was at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back, got delayed on the train, and then got back right before the meeting started, so he left immediately to go to the meeting. And then
After the meeting he disappeared.
After the meeting.
And then yeah. That's
Okay, yeah, I don't know why it took me a second to put that together, but
No, it's fine.
I got it. Okay, that's very fair.
I squeezed my head with my hands and try and drag back out what I had only realized for a split second. Remember, Keiichi Mayabara, you just realized something. Something important. The night of the Watanagashi. That was when everything started. That night, Takano and Tomatake Flash died. The next morning, word of the incident had spread through Hinamizawa. They planned to talk about it during the evening meeting. The mayor, however, had an appointment at the hospital, and as planned, he went there without telling his family. He got a checkup at the hospital. Ate something. And then there was an unexpected delay on his train ride back. When he returned, the meeting was already about to start. The mayor changed clothes, got on his bicycle, and hurried to the assembly hall at the shrine as fast as he could. From when he heard about the incident on the night of Watanagashi until he showed up at the assembly hall, everything he was doing that day was done in secret. during that time, nobody found out that he went to the hospital alone. He ate alone. And he got on a train alone. They all meant he had absolutely no contact with anyone else. You couldn't have even called him on the phone. Okay, but what does that mean, Keiichi Maebara? Why does that matter, Keiichi Maebara?
Kei-chan, what should I do?
What's wrong? Tell me. We're not keeping secrets from each other, right?
Old man Kimiyoshi, I told him everything.
I told him everything. I told old man Kimiyoshi everything.
That night, I told the mayor that we snuck into the ritual storehouse. Also, that someone saw us and was out to get us.
Right. What then?
Old man Kimiyoshi didn't get angry. He smiled, and then told me that if I was properly sorry about it, then there was no way I'd be demoned away. He was really smiling, and he told me to leave it to him.
Sweat burst out of my body like bullets. They became one long strand, and then slid down from my forehead to my nose and fell. But does he tell Ooishi? So then, what does it mean? Hey, Keiichi Maebara, no more playing dumb. When did she tell him? Shion said she learned of the incident from a phone call from her father. From a phone call her father had made that morning. The mayor had left the house first thing in the morning from his appointment at the hospital. He didn't tell anybody where he was going. Nobody knew about him going to the university hospital. Furthermore, his train ride back to his house was delayed by an accident. As soon as he got home, he rushed out to the assembly hall. Then the meeting at the assembly hall began, and continued until it was dark out. Then everyone left. Nobody saw him after the meeting was over. He just disappeared. Which meant,
Maebara-san, are you alright? If you're too hot, I can turn on the air conditioner,
Another part of me was messing with my thoughts, demanding that I not think any further than that.
I mean, the last place he would have been, if he talked to Shion, would have been the Sonozaki house in Okinomiya.
Would have been in a meeting hall or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
In Okinomiya? You mean
No.
Hinamizawa?
Shion doesn't live in the Hinamizawa house.
No.
Would she be at the meeting?
What do you think? Do you think Shion's at the meetings?
God, no. I think Mion's at the meetings. I don't think Shion is. But if Shion talked to the mayor that night, because she didn't do it in the morning, she didn't do it in the evening, the only time Shion would have been able to talk to the mayor was in between him leaving and disappearing. But that's also implying that she talked to him that day.
That was the
she
day
could've-
after.
Was that the day? Yeah, because that was the day after. So she would have had to talk to him that day.
Yep.
Yeah, so then the only point in time she could have talked to him was after he quote-unquote disappeared when he left the meeting hall. Which would have put him in Okinomiya. Because that's where Shion lives. Unless she met him somewhere.
Yep.
Which means he would have disappeared either coming back from Okinomiya, or he would have disappeared in Okinomiya. Which still puts the Sonozakis at the heart of the problem.
Okay. I'm not sure if I understand your reason, but I'll accept it.
No, I put the Sonozakis at the heart of the problem because I'm still determined Rika and Sadako went to the Sonozakis.
Alright.
Because Rena basically built it up as somebody they would trust enough to ask for something and have dinner. Which, I don't know where the fuck the shrine is in relation to the Sonozaki main house.
There's like
because
a map.
There is no map.
There's a map in the anime, but it's not really.
Yeah. But I am just assuming that it's probably the Sonozaki main house that they're closest to. But I have no map to be able to confirm that.
Yeah.
My head was pounding violently, and the fluids packed inside of it all blended together until nothing made sense. It was just about to settle, yet it had been smashed and melted in the blink of an eye, no longer able to retain its shape.
My brother-san, are you in there?
Yeah. Ooishi-san lit my balls on fire. There was yet another cigarette butt placed in the ashtray. The ashtray! You put the butts in the ashtray, you know? No! Was it displaying the passage of time? Had my thoughts been frozen for over that long?
Frozen over for that long. I've tried to tell you everything I know, and in return, feel free to tell me anything you want, my brother-san.
My mind had become a gigantic, oozing mess. My brain felt like it had been totally minced by the blades of a blender, and I couldn't think.
Now, don't clam up again. If there are any misunderstandings, I'd like to clear them up first. I don't think you're the culprit or anything.
That's not what he's freaking out, Ooishi. Ooishi-san gave his best attempt at an adult smile.
I know the four of you snuck into the ritual storehouse at night. Everyone in the village heard rumors about it the next day. That in itself means we should take you in for trespassing. But that isn't the problem. It's what was inside. What was inside that made the people who snuck in there end up as sacrifices?
There wasn't anything. Keiichi's lying. As soon as I said it, I regretted confirming my presence there, but I knew it didn't matter anymore.
Was there not really nothing in there? I mean, everyone who went in is being sacrificed one by one, you know. Even the mayor and Riko-san, who switched the lock on the door, was sacrificed. What was inside that could have caused such terrible things to happen?
I was far too tired of keeping quiet about this. Perhaps that was Ooishi-san's goal after all, but again, that didn't matter anymore. There were just a lot of torture devices that were used long ago. I looked around at them with everyone.
Was that really all?
That was really all.
There was nothing terrible in there that would make you keep silent. Like a pile of psychoactive drugs, maybe a secret puppy workshop. Perhaps there were mountains of Soviet or Chinese handguns. There weren't any suspicious wooden boxes or containers packed in there.
There was nothing. As exaggerated as what Ooishi-san was hoping for, but I felt like in a way there were plenty of terrible things hidden in there. From the perspective of someone who viewed the storehouse as sacred, whether or not I thought I had seen some crazy things didn't matter in the slightest. The four of us broke the taboo. Punish us. That should have been what happened.
We put in a request for such want, thinking that there might have been some secrets hidden in the store in that storehouse.
What up, Alex?
Oh, hey, we got somebody.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
Alex.
Yeah,
You know Alex.
I know Alex.
Well, go on.
Ugh, it's been the sabotage of the century. They said that would have been an insult to religious figures, and something about the right to free religion in the Constitution. Ah, jeez, that is why I really don't have any other. It's so hard. That is why I don't really have any other recourse but to ask you, since you went in there.
There really was just old, rusty, dusty torture equipment. Nothing else stood out.
Then Tomotaki-san
Flash.
and Takano-san were the only killed as punishment for breaking the taboo?
I didn't have an answer for the only part.
I suppose I won't bother reading it anymore. You're the only one to escape harm so far.
Shion's dead!
Everyone but you has disappeared, and yet you alone are safe.
Shion's dead!
What is the difference between you and them that will protect you but harm the others? That is what I want to know.
There was something wrong with what Ooishi-san was saying. You alone. You alone. What? Wait a second. What do you mean by you alone?
I'm saying that you alone have been left alive, right? Out of the 4 people who tiptoed into the storehouse for ritual implements, I mean.
The only one left alive? Hold on. Shion was still...
Jiro Tomatake-san
Slash.
and Mio Takano-san died that night, and Shion Sonozaki disappeared the next day.
She would have disappeared after the phone call then. But then when would she have talked to the mayor?
Only you are still safe and sound at this point.
But that lines up because 2 people disappear every day.
Why only you? I'm saying that's... Why only you? I'm saying that's what I want to know.
Shion disappeared? That's impossible. I unintentionally raised my voice, but I didn't care about that. Tomatake Flash died. Takano-san died. And Shion disappeared? When did she disappear? What is this guy talking about?
Oh, well now, I thought you were long aware of this.
This is the first I've heard of it. Shion disappeared. When?
Well, going back a bit, she disappeared the day after Watanagashi.
Going back a bit? Stop saying stuff I don't understand.
Shion Sonozaki spends the night at relatives' houses, depending on her mood on any given day. So no one thought much of not knowing where she was. She frequently takes days off from school, too. Her teacher has been pretty troubled about it.
I didn't ask about any of that. I'm asking you when Shion disappeared.
I told you, it was the day after Watanagashi.
The fluids in my body all reversed direction.
His boner went backwards.
I lost my sense of balance, and everything I could see started to warp and twist out of shape. I simply couldn't endure it. Hang on. Shion had already disappeared? Then, that night, that phone call. Who was that? She called me every night. She encouraged me. We vowed that we would do our best and live on and not be erased.
Is that just Mion?
Yes, that should have been a phone call with Shion. Should have been a phone call with me. Shion should have been a phone call with Shion.
She took breaks from class like it was nothing, and her family wouldn't listen when I told them. So I didn't bother calling the school in the end. So it ended up taking quite a while before we realized she disappeared.
I felt a stabbing pain like neons. Needles were being pushed into every pore of my body. It started on my back and began spreading throughout the rest of me. When it had completely covered the surface of my skin, it began to worm its way inside my stomach as well.
Don't you remember? We talked at the library the day after Watanagashi. Shion-san was there then. That was the last we saw of her. No one knows where she's been since.
That can't be. That day, Ooishi-san had only caught me, and Shion bounded away lying that she needed to go to work. Didn't she call me that night? Ooishi.
Her job was at a restaurant called Angel Mart, right? She hasn't been there since that day. She's been completely absent ever since. The person at the restaurant couldn't get in touch with her. He was very worried.
That can't be. It can't be.
It's only circumstantial evidence, but after she left us at the library, but before she made it to work, I think it's appropriate to consider her having disappeared during that time.
Right after Shion ran away without me?
It seems that
It seems like you didn't know. Maybe if you had said something earlier, this would have gone more quickly. Now you understand, right? You're the only one left. You're the only survivor of the 4 who slipped into the ritual storehouse.
It couldn't be. It just couldn't be.
If something else happens, it would happen to you. I need you to understand it, my brother son.
It can't be. It can't be. It can't be. Shion had already disappeared? That couldn't be. It couldn't be. I talked to her the day before yesterday. I talked to her last night. She was going to call me again today. That was Shion on the phone. Shion on the phone. It was from Shion. From Shion.
Shion had long since disappeared. Next will be you.
Then who was on the phone those last past nights? Who was on the phone those past nights? Who was on the phone those past nights? It can't be! It's Mion!
It's Mion.
It's Mion!
It's Mion?
It's Mion. Who else? Is there a third Sonozaki twin I didn't know about?
I mean, they're twins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shion has already proved. They've already proved they can deceive people, pretending to be each other. That's already been proved earlier in the game. There's 100% Mion on the phone. Oh, I have to read.
I lay down on the couch and stayed there dazed for a while. My mind was completely blank. I couldn't think about anything for more than a few seconds. There was a note in my house saying that Mom and Dad would be home late and that I should have some ramen or something for dinner. I could make it whenever I got hungry, but I had no appetite, so I just stared blankly at the ceiling without eating anything. The hands of the clock were already pointing at 10. Would I get another phone call like today? Like that today, even though Shion had already disappeared? Would she still call me? Where were they calling from, and who were they? The more I thought about it, the more I started to tremble. I even thought about just disconnecting the phone line. If I had been thinking a little less logically, I really would have done it too. Hold on, Keiichi Maebara. Ooishi-san admitted himself, didn't he? That Shion went missing a lot? Couldn't she just have gone to a relative that Ooishi-san didn't know about and had been there ever since? Shion and I were both being targeted by somebody, so it wouldn't be strange to think that she went somewhere she usually didn't in order to hide. That must have been why Ooishi-san couldn't locate her, and why he labeled her a disappearance. Yeah, that had to be it. Shion hadn't disappeared at all. Then my right hand moved of its own volition and slapped me on the cheek. Its cold sting let me calm down a little. Don't just convince yourself of the most convenient possibility, Keiichi Maebara. I knew I didn't want to admit that she had disappeared. Admitting it would mean that something terrifying was definitely going to happen. I just needed to figure out whether Shion was on the phone or not. Would I ask her if she was actually Shion? That seemed like an incredibly absurd thing to do. Still, don't run from this, Keiichi. If the person on the other end still believed that I thought she was Shion, then that gave me a tiny advantage. Casually, completely casually, I would listen to what she had to say, and fend her off. I would tear the skin off of the monster. It would definitely be really scary for me. However, as the last survivor of the people who went into the storehouse that night, this was my duty to perform. Still, then who? Who would call me and pretend to be Shion? I may have only heard her over the phone, but her voice shouldn't be that easy to replicate. That was definitely Shion's voice. It sounded just like her. It could have only been Shion. There was someone though, wasn't there? Someone who sounded like Shion. Mion. Who else could have done this? At this point, seriously, after all this time, all those little things that didn't quite make sense about Mion until now overwhelmed my mind, like being questioned about sneaking into the ritual storehouse and how she shook the ladder while spouting curses. Who else? Who else could have? Why though? Why would Mion... I thought back to the things about the Sonozaki family that I had heard from Ooishi-san and Shion. Mion was always entangled in the incidents, in a position where she was omnipotent. Some of that information included things that Shion had told me after she disappeared. I madly scratched at my head. Courage. Give me the courage. Just a little bit of courage to pick up the phone. I know it will ring tonight. It would be so easy to run away. That, though, would be the same as making it easy for them to erase me. I cannot run. I must stand up and face it. After all, the next sacrifice would definitely be me. I was sure Shion would use tricky words to try and trap me. Be careful, be careful. I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this.
Moshi Moshi!
At that point, it rang. The phone rang and I didn't know where the call was coming from. Shion had disappeared. Disappeared a long time ago. Disappeared the night after the Watanagashi. Yet, until today, she had been calling me like nothing happened. Now again tonight.
So what? Mion called it Shion and lied about Shion telling everything to the mayor.
Okay.
And then that's when she figured out that Keiichi told Rika. And then that's when Rika gets axed. Because that was the next night.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
To people that had disappeared, their corpses simply haven't been found. I really didn't think they were alive. So if it was really Shion on the other end, then did that mean she was calling me from another world?
Like a
Ghost Shion?
I love Cage.
Of course, that couldn't be it. A living being was calling me, pretending to be Shion. Shion was long gone, and yet, as though she were alive and well, the phone continued its incessant ringing. I didn't want to pick it up if I didn't have to. I had just concluded, though, that not doing so wouldn't solve anything. Then, what would I do after I answered it? Would I immediately declare that she wasn't Shion and ask who she was? Alternatively, I would pretend I was still fooled and try and grab her by the tail? That would probably be the safest thing to do. What I was most afraid of was what the person on the phone should do when she realized I knew she wasn't Shion. However, as long as I continued to let her think I was fooled, she wouldn't do anything extreme, right? If I just make sure to be careful, that should be the safest option. I've made up my mind. I'll answer the phone. Once I do that, I'll talk to her as if nothing happened. That wasn't all I'd do this time, though. I'd scope her out. Who was she? What was she thinking? And what was she after? Why was she doing this? Was she really the one who killed Tomatake Flash and Takano-san? What happened to the mayor? What happened to Rika-chan and Sadako? I like how Keiichi asked every question that has been asked in this chapter just real quick before he picks up the phone, just to remind you. I reached out to the receiver, my arm trembling. There were too many things I wanted to know, too many things I wanted to ask. I was scared. I should start by picking up the phone. Pick it up, Keiichi. Pick it up, Keiichi.
Oh, Moshi Moshi?
I know that this is Mion, but I'm going to read it as Shion still.
Yeah, read it as Shion.
Okay. Hello. Oh, how relieved I would have been if it hadn't been a call from Shion.
Ah, Kei-chan, it's me. It's Shion.
My momentary convenient and above all fleeting prediction was ripped into 1,000 pieces.
Like he was already saying, like, it sounds like Mion. There's Shion. It could only be Shion. So
You think
of course it would go by. You would go by the voice of Shion.
Well, that's fair. I couldn't help but shaking at this point. Get ready for this.
You took a long time to pick up. I thought you weren't home, and I was just about to hang up.
Sorry. I was just in the bath.
Did your family not pick up for you? Could your parents be out right now, Kei-chan?
Immediate flashback to the first game.
I failed. I let her in on a fatal piece of information that I was currently the only one at my house. Well, no, they're not really. Anyway, have you heard about Rika-chan and Sadako?
No. What happened after that? Were they found?
Nah, they weren't found.
Kei-chan, please don't lose hope.
If Ooishi if Ooishi-san hadn't let me know, then I might have allowed myself to shed a tear or two at Shion's considerate words. Instead, now that it had come to this, I couldn't take her words at face value. This person on the other end of the receiver, the more perfect a Shion they were, the more my blood curdled in fear.
Almost too perfect.
Rika-chan and Sadako.
Wait, is that Keiichi?
Yeah.
The first one?
Yeah.
Rika-chan and Sadako, they were kidnapped, weren't they?
Yes, I don't think there's much doubt.
Just how cruel and grave a meaning did those words hold. Their weight astonished me, and then a moment later I was overcome with numbness and felt like I would pass out. I had asked if Rika-chan and Sadako had been kidnapped. Shion, in turn, had answered that there wasn't much doubt, that cruel meaning behind her words. Rika-chan and Sadako were, no, I mean, I'm sorry. About the mayor, what do you think happened after he was kidnapped? Do you think he's still alive? What had happened to Rika-chan and Sadako after they were kidnapped? That's what I wanted to ask, but I frantically caught myself. What if she had given that question a terrifying response, in such a way to sound like it had nothing to do with her? I was scared of that, so I immediately brought up the mayor. That said, however much I talked about the mayor,
I think he was killed.
Hey, wait, that was quick.
I think it must be really hard to kidnap someone and keep them like they are. As long as they're not hostages, it would be most practical to kill them once you were done with them.
The world started to bend so much I almost lost my balance. The scenery in my eyes whirled around and around like the hands of a clock and tried to swallow me whole from below. I frantically put a hand on the wall to support myself. A moment later, a severe nausea welled up within me. How was she saying such things so lightly? Kill them.
There it is! I fucking forgot. We finally made it to fascism.
This sounds like penis music.
You know how much we both love penis music.
In the nicest way possible, this is literally penis music.
Alright.
Is this Keiichi?
It's
or
Keiichi.
Shion? Okay.
Look, read this in the most deranged way you can.
Oh my god. There's a lot happening right now. Oh.
Yeah.
This is kind of based. I don't think I can pull a Psycho Keiichi out right now with penis music in the background. I'll get there. I'll get there.
Do it anyway.
Kill them so readily. I mean, what's a human life or two anyway?
It's a horrible thing, but I think that's probably what happened.
If the mayor was killed, then did that mean the same had happened to Rika-chan and Sadako? No, that couldn't. They weren't some random old man. It was Rika-chan. It was Sadako. They couldn't kill them so readily.
It's probably better to think that Rika-chan and Sadako-chan ended up the same way.
Those were the words I wanted to hear, at the least, and I fought them back with a scream of my own. Even though it wouldn't change anything. I still couldn't help but scream. This time the tears flowed. It had been confirmed with the most horrific outcome that I'd been trying to avoid considering ever since last night, and I cried. There was no longer any doubt that it was my fault. I killed them. I killed Rika-chan and Sadako. I succumbed to the weakness of my own heart and confessed everything to Rika-chan. I feel like I'm reading Persona 4 again. That's why they were killed. That meant I killed them. When Rika-chan looked at me with those innocent eyes, if only I hadn't given in. Even my own voice gave out, and yet still I cried. And cried.
Kei-chan, please, just try and calm down.
Rika-chan and Sadako, they've been killed. We couldn't even find their remains. I would never be allowed to even apologize to their faces. If that was to be my punishment, then how brutal a punishment it was. I think Shion tried to comfort me, but I didn't hear any of it. This is the fascism track?
Yeah.
Is it just called fascism?
Yeah.
That's fucking incredible. I kind of really like this track.
Yes.
The MIDI of this is penis music, but I'm sure the actual track sounds really fucking good.
You didn't read it yet.
This is Shion, yeah.
What are you gonna gain by doing that? They're definitely going to target you and me next. Please, I'm asking you, get a hold of yourself. Please. Please.
Shion was shouting, imploring me with a voice that sounded like there were tears in her eyes. However, I was coming to hate the sound of that voice more and more. This Shion killed them. I had no doubts that this person killed them. Why? 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 Why kidnap someone then kill them? Screw curses! Are people's lives really that cheap? Erasing them and killing them without a second thought like this?
You're right. You're absolutely right. It would take a demon.
I felt like crushing the receiver in my hand.
I love Keiichi.
How long did this person plan on acting like it was someone else's problem? There was magma in the pit of my stomach, and it felt like it was going to erupt any moment. Hey Shion, please tell me. Why did Hinamizawa start needing someone to die on the night of the Watanagashi?
That's what I'd like to know.
The fighting over the dam project is already over and done with. Haven't enough people been cursed already? Why is it? Why? If there was a reason, then say it now! I was incoherent at this point. My emotions had broken through the dam inside of me, rushing forth, and I couldn't stop them. These were not simple questions. This was an interrogation. Shion herself hadn't realized it yet. It was just too funny. I really hope every game has the Keiichi mental boom section where he just completely fucking goes from Keiichi to just deranged Keiichi for the rest of the game. It's so funny.
Oh yeah.
It was so funny that I couldn't stop crying.
I understand how you feel, Kei-chan, I really do. The dam wars ended a long time ago, yet murders and disappearances keep happening every year under the guise of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Why? Why is it happening? Some of them had nothing to do with this, and some of them didn't deserve to be cursed, so why? Why?
That's what I'm asking you!
I want to know that as much as anyone!
Just love having an argument with yourself.
Yeah, this is just two fucking psychos going back and forth, bro. Both of our ragged breaths could be heard over the phone. Listen. Is this Keiichi? Yes. Listen, Oyashiro-sama's curse never existed. It's too unrealistic. Just like you said, someone in the village is using the grand name of Oyashiro-sama's curse as a justification for continuing these murders and disappearances every Watanagashi. They were cunning. They've been using the curses as a convenient tool and made a system where they would get rid of two enemies in the village every year.
No, it's Shion.
Is this Shion?
Yeah.
I'm not reading all that again. I'm just finishing this as fucking Keiichi. And this year, that system killed Takano-san and Tomatake Flash. Now this is Keiichi.
Yeah.
Then, why wasn't that enough? Why did the mayor and Rika-chan and Sadako have to get killed too? I don't give a shit about the past. The only thing I care about is why Rika-chan and Sadako needed to be killed. Why was that? I didn't say a word to Sadako, you know. Why even her? Why? A silence fell between us. Shion didn't answer for a while.
Kei-chan, please, stop being mean.
A sob. Was Shion crying? Double down, double down, double down, double down.
Oh, I don't want to hear this track. Cringe. Have you seen that really like low poly cat where it's like, oh no, cringe?
No.
Sounds like I gotta find something later.
I don't have any idea what's going on either. Everything changed when we went into the ritual storehouse that night.
It was the same for me. As I listened to Shion's bitter weeping, I could feel my agitation subsiding.
When I heard that Takano-san and Tomatake Flash had been killed that night, I doubted my ears. Then I realized it instantly. I realized what sort of a position I was in now. The four of us snuck in there. Kei-chan, you and I won't be so conveniently forgiven. When I thought about that, it made my chest so tight. It was so terrifying. You know that feeling, Kei-chan, don't you?
I don't believe this is Shion. I really don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to not believe this was much like I thought Shion wasn't real to begin with. I'm doubling down on this is not Shion on the phone. You've heard it first. I'm doubling down on that Shion disappeared when Ooishi said she disappeared.
Okay.
I will double down on that point. I am non-negotiable.
There was nothing fake about her words. She'd even understood how I felt.
That's why I confessed everything to old man Kimiyoshi.
This is when he asked her when.
All of us entered the Forbidden Storehouse. It was just a little bit of fun. We knew we shouldn't have done it. But it really had just been for fun. It was only a bit of exploration, that was all. Takano-san and Tomatake Flash, who went in with us, were killed shortly afterwards. They met such miserable ends. Since that day, I'd been living in fear of when I would be attacked. There was nobody except old man Kimiyoshi who would help me. This is apparently all Shion, so I asked him to save me.
Old man Kimiyoshi, he wasn't mad. He smiled, and he said, if you're really sorry, Shion-chan, then you'd never be demoned away. He really did smile at me, and told me to leave it to him.
You think she's just making all this up?
But like, this is the second time she said that exact same story.
So you know she's not lying.
I just...
Or at least her story's, like, consistent. She's been...
No, her story's consistent. But I don't think it's Shion. I think it's Mion.
And Keiichi's like... Keiichi just a minute ago was like... There's no... I can...
No,
She's
I don't
just
believe
speaking
it.
from the heart
Keiichi's
here.
fucking retarded. I don't believe him. In not Watanagashi, in Onekakushi, I believed Keiichi. Right now, Keiichi's thinking with his cock. I don't trust him. I don't trust him. He's down bad. I don't trust him. I don't believe in Keiichi. Fuck that guy. He's cringe.
Alright.
Shion cried bitterly, recalling the
fucking
beloved mayor's death. It was such a sad voice that none who heard it could prevent it from twisting their hearts.
Dude, if Mion's gonna be the head of the Sonozaki family, fucking rolling a dipshit kid like Keiichi is like change for her. That's easy. It's spare change.
Again, did I let my emotions take over and go off at her? Shion was in the same situation as me. She should have been my one and only comrade.
Ask her, fucker.
Thump. My heart pounded. My other self, deep within my mind, whispered to me, "Don't forget, Keiichi Mayabara. Don't forget about the mayor. Yes, Keiichi! On the morning of after the Watanagashi. He was told of Takano until Matake flashed his deaths over the phone and committed to a meeting that evening. He went to a hospital appointment. He didn't tell his family. He'd only made it back just in time for the meeting. He went straight to the assembly hall. That's what Ooishi-san said. Ask.
Yeah, buddy! That's what I've been waiting for!
When did you let the mayor know?
Huh?
I'm sorry, Shion. It must seem like I'm kicking you while you're down, because I am. But, Shion, you told him, right? You told old man Kimiyoshi, the mayor.
Yes.
When did you let him know? I'd begun to get scared of saying it aloud after hearing her sad voice. I wasn't saying it was contradictory, though. Besides, if there wasn't a contradiction, then I wanted Shion to explain it to me. Did you know that the mayor had a severe case of hemorrhoids and had gone to the hospital for treatment?
Kei-chan? What does that have to...
Please answer me. If you didn't know, then just say so. There was a momentary silence. Then, after stammering a few times, she replied.
I knew that. He had hemorrhoids. It looked like sitting down was really hard for him.
He was going to the hospital. You know which hospital, right?
I'm sorry, I don't know that much, but... Kei-chan, what does this have to do with...
Shion didn't know what hospital the mayor went to. That meant it was impossible for her to have gone all the way to the hospital to confess everything. Since she didn't know his destination, then she obviously couldn't have seen him on the train either. If there was any other chance for her to contact him, it would have been after he came to Hinamizawa. The train, however, had been delayed, and he only got back right before the meeting was about to start. He didn't have time. There wouldn't have been enough time for him to listen to Shion spill the beans. I want to ask you straight, Shion, when did you tell the mayor about everything? When and where? Your answer doesn't have to be precise, but please give me one.
Kei-chan, why are you asking that?
You're telling me that this bitch is Shion.
I'm not saying this any. I'm not telling you who it is. I will not tell you who this is. I'm just trying to see where your mind's at.
Obviously she's not Shion, bro. Are you fucking shitting me?
It's my job to poke you a little bit, huh?
Alright,
It's my job.
like, come on, obviously,
It's my
bro.
fucking job.
Do you see how hard she's trying to guilt trip bait and switch this man into getting off the question? This bitch pretending to be Shion's been hit the nail on the fucking head. Her gimmick is up, bro.
Her sob pierced into my ears. I was taken by the illusion that I was bullying her.
But you're not!
Even so, I'll say it. If I'm wrong, then please correct me. Please prove to me that you're the real Shion. It was impossible. The day the mayor disappeared, from dawn until he vanished, there was no opportunity for you to contact him.
That's...
The mayor left first thing in the morning for his examination at the university hospital all by himself without telling anyone. Shion, you just said you don't know what hospital he went to, so you couldn't have contacted the mayor until he got back. Isn't that right? His train back was delayed by an accident, and he didn't return to his house until the meeting was about to start. So there was no time for you to have told him before the meeting started either. I heard Shion repeating her weak sobs. That sort of feminine voice automatically ripped into my heart. Keiichi, don't think with your cock, bro. Focus. It was so painful for me to say it. Shion, did you go to the meeting too? Did you attend it and tell him there? If you didn't, then there wouldn't have been any time left. After the meeting was over, the mayor disappeared on his way home. Shion went to the meeting, didn't she? Did she or didn't she? The question was so simple to answer, but she didn't give me an immediate response.
Actually, with the meeting,
You didn't even go to the part-time job you said you went to that day. I'll say it more directly. You haven't been seen since we were at the library together.
Kei-chan,
Shion Sonozaki disappeared the day after the Watanagashi. The other end fell silent as the grave. It was so quiet that it was like the phone cord had been cut. I couldn't sense anyone there. Ooishi-san says you've been missing. Despite that, you've been calling me every night like this, haven't you?
She's trying so hard to bail herself out, bro. It's over. Your game is over. It's over.
Right.
It's GG. That's done. GG, easy, go next. It's over. All this motherfucker does in response to Keiichi is vague and cry. You're not real.
Shion sobs for torturing me. Still, I'm pretty sure I haven't said anything wrong. Please, Shion. If something I said was wrong, please say so. Shion, I'm begging you. Shion, there's no way you could have seen the mayor, but if you did see him, if Shion ever did have the chance to meet with the mayor on that day, then you saw him after the meeting. In other words, it could have only been right before he disappeared, or else afterward. And then Homer Simpson laughed for the rest of that, because this is gonna go on for a while. I know how Ryukishi works.
Just keep.
Look
at the screen, motherfucker.
Baguette.
Eyeballs?
Eyeballs.
Beep, beep went the dial tone. I stood there dazed for a while until I realized she had hung up on me. Do I have to hit enter again? No. Okay. Shion Sonozaki disappeared after the night of the Watanagashi.
The day after Watanagashi.
Yeah, the night after the Watanagashi.
The day after. Received some new tips.
You trying to say she died during the day?
She disappeared. I didn't say die. She disappeared the day after Watanagashi.
Sure, pal. Sure. I'll believe that when my fucking nuts double in size.
Bro.
What?
Then they'd be bowling balls. There's no point. Like,
You don't want to haul around bowling balls with you? Fucking coward.
you already got giant nuts. Like, why? All right. All right. From the scrapbook 9?
No. This is like 11, I think.
I don't remember. Anyway.
It's probably 11, because we already did 10. So this would have to be 11. Was it XI or IX?
I don't remember. I just saw an I and an X. I don't remember what order they were in.
11. Here, the keyboard is yours. Mm-hmm. Take it away, my friend.
Yep. The problem with twins. I don't know how to do her voice anymore.
It's alright, hopefully you won't have to.
This is not limited to just Hinamizawa, but in Onigafuchi village especially the three families detested giving birth to twins as successors. The long-term dictatorship built on the precarious balance of the three families must have feared collapsing under the weight of internal strife from things like family quarrels. According to the literature, if twins were born, then they had to be culled. With that, the very fact that both Sonozaki family successor Mion Sonozaki and a twin Shion were alive is in itself deeply interesting. Perhaps the current leader, Oryo, is sympathetic? Of course, the twins were not cared for equally, and as their heir, Mion received special treatment. From what I've heard, despite the two of them looking exactly the same on the outside, the talent lies solely with Mion. My own observations of the two of them don't leave me with that impression. Tradition dictates that the leader of the Sonozaki family is said to inherit a demon that they tattooed a magnificent one onto his or her back. What do you think her own observation means there? Like, the talent lies with Mion, but she doesn't think so?
Are you asking me as like a trick question, or are you asking me as like a genuine question?
My genuine question. Like, what do you think that means?
Well, because Takano, like, was kind of friends with Shion, wasn't she?
Yeah.
So Takano could... Because Takano was with Shion so much, she might think that, like, Shion is just as crafty, if not more, than Mion.
Okay.
That might be probably what she's talking about there.
Alright. Just because she knows her more?
Probably because she knows her more. Well, because, like, think about it, right? Fucking... If I only knew Cameron, but I, like, kind of knew that you existed, and you guys were twins, and someone was like, oh, Cameron's the one with... Or, sorry, oh, Tyler's the one with all the brains, Cameron doesn't know fuck all. I automatically would be like, well, you know, from my own experience, that's not the case. You know what I mean? Like, it's the kind of bias you get just by knowing one of them so much. And also, Mion hated fucking Takano. Or Mion doesn't like Takano.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to me that, like...
No, I don't... No, Mion hates Ooishi. I don't think
Mion hates Ooishi, but she's not too fond of Takano, I don't think.
Yeah.
Every time she's around Takano, she's a little bit like, Yeah, I definitely say it's probably from, like, Takano knowing Shion more. But I also don't think Shion's an idiot. Because we've seen, like, with her gags of Keiichi and all that shit, she kind of knows how to get what she wants, right?
She's really good at pretending to be... she's really good at
She'd be a
getting
great
what she
con
wants.
man.
She's a great con man.
She's a great con man.
Shion is a great con man.
But I don't think being a good con man would bail her out of what she got in. Since if you ask me, because of the mention of the twins thing, it's obvious Shion broke into the storehouse, so that's an excuse for her to axe her. So that they don't have to have twins. And they don't have to deal with that anymore. Even though Mion had already been chosen as the successful heir, Shion could have tried to con her way into being the head of the family. And that could be they were threatened by that. And didn't realize that was dangerous until more recently, and then her breaking in the storehouse was just an excuse to kill her.
Okay.
I still think it's the Sonozaki family behind everything. And that they're the ones killing everyone.
Alright.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Okay. We will talk more.
Because I see no reason for them not to. They're creating a power vacuum to fill. It's really simple.
Well,
And the
there's
less,
a
the
fairly...
less families... Well, the less families they have to deal with, the
There's a fairly good reason why they wouldn't do what this chapter has, what's happened in this chapter, but it's kind of because they'd be heavily under suspicion for disappearing, like all the other
but what do they
families.
have to stick on them?
Who else? What?
You can't arrest somebody on
what's-
circumstantial fucking evidence. The only reason they got fucking... What was it? Al Capone was on tax fraud. They got him on tax fraud.
Yeah.
They didn't get him on any of the shit he did as a fucking mob boss. They got him on tax fraud. Like, yeah, sure, it may be 190%
I don't know,
obvious that it's the Sonozaki family, but if they can't get any inherent evidence, they can't do anything about it. Other than just, we think it's you guys, we can try to dig up what we can, but if we can't get anything to stick, nothing sticks. Because rumors are just brushed off.
Well, we'll see.
That's fair, but I'm just telling you, bro.
I feel like a certain someone has already told us why that wouldn't be the case.
I'm sure Ooishi's probably said some shit.
Not Ooishi.
Rena? Smile?
Smiley? In accordance with the tradition, there's an extremely high possibility that Mion has such a tattoo on her back. From what I've heard, there's apparently a magnificent demon tattooed on Oyo's back as well. Then, I wonder what kind of tattoo belongs to the heir, Mion. I really want to see her back.
Based.
Pervert. Fucking
Mouse over it, mouse over it, mouse over it.
9. It was 11.
That is 11.
At the Zuzu Mahjong parlor.
Is this an Ooishi?
I'm just gonna read Ooishi. Moyabara-san, result for the day. Zuzu Mahjong para. Let the click. Hey, Kura-chan. You're the last one here.
Kumo?
No.
No.
All the youngsters are here already. No, he's
Ooishi?
Kura is Ooishi, I think. Cause he's like, what's his fucking name? It's not Kuraldo. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so Kura-chan is is Ooishi.
That's weird to hear Ooishi called something Sean.
Yeah. Nah, excuse me, miss.
Oh, it's an old lady.
Ooishi handed over a convenience store bag with a carton of cigarettes in it to the old lady who owns the mahjong parlor, and she shrewdly made herself scarce. She was used to this pioneer.
What, they just show up, reserve the place, bribe the secretary to fuck off, or the intro lady, and then that's it?
Yeah,
Is this Kuma?
you can just pick a voice.
Wow, Ooishi-chan, good work today.
What? Were you all honestly waiting for me? Oh, you should have just done a 3-player. Everyone sitting at the mahjong tables in a small parlor were Ooishi subordinates. But there were no tiles laid out anywhere. Everyone, I'd like to thank you for your days of investigation without sleep. Thank you! Energetic responses fuels the polar. Already it had lost the atmosphere of a place of entertainment. The situation is not looking good. The chief appears to have backed down due to Congressman Sonozuki's threats. In the coming days, we'll hand off Takano's murder to the Gifu police and give the missing persons case of the disappearance of the mayor and the others to the community division. The damn upstart chief, the veterans in the room cost him. All of our requests for warrants were turned down as well. I've been told by our section chief not to go anywhere near the Sonozuki house. Well, suddenly in the point of that we are.
You can't even fucking tell me with all this shit that it's not the Sonozuki's axing everyone.
Incidentally, it looks like I'll be getting orders soon to go training at the Metropolitan Police Department starting next week. After that, I've even been told to take a paid vacation in Izu. Well, I suppose that ain't bad.
I told you, bro.
He owed a few dry laughs. It wasn't anything to laugh about, but it was all they could do. This always happens, but incidents are a lot like locking your keys in the car. The keys you need to unlock the door are always locked inside. For cars, you call JAF, and they'll pry open your door. For incidents, Kuma-chan shows a map. Kuma-Tony flipped over the whiteboard. On the back was a map of the Sonozuki premises made with magnets.
Now, oh man, shitty, it's me, Joe Pesci. Now, I've been doing this job for a long time. I've got a little faith in my gut, but this could be the one time it was wrong, no? Anyone worried about their retirement money has until the count of 10 to get out of here.
So is she.
Ah, see, that is Ooishi.
Ooishi began to count to 10, and everyone counted with him.
Are you telling me Ooishi has his own cult of following within the police department?
So
That are basically like
this is the loose cannon police.
Yeah.
Police officer gathering his friends together saying, I've got an operation to do. I can't do it officially. Everybody here, if you don't want to be a part of this, leave before I finish counting to 10.
Yeah. Ooishi is the best character in the game.
Uh-huh.
I don't think there's a better character than Ooishi in the game. I don't think you can convince me otherwise either.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah. Ooishi began to count to 10, and everyone counted along with him. And then he's done this so many times that they all just know.
They just count with him.
Yeah,
because they're not gonna leave.
How many? It was a famous 10 count resolution.
10 count resolution.
9, 10. Oh, no one's leaving. None of you love your family so much, is it? Is that it? Foo-foo-foo.
I love Ooishi.
Everyone left up gloriously, cheering things up. I want everyone to go over the materials, memorize the locations and the blind spots aboard the security cameras. Kuma-chan, you'll be standing by in the command car. If something happens, you'll switch with me and take over. Komiyama-kun will head up the infiltration team A. Atsushi-kun will lead team B. Observation teams will be set up at points 1 through 8. Bonchi-kun, you are responsible for keeping a strict timetable. Control your rotation so HQ doesn't get wise. Now the team on standby has the most important job. Alright. If the section chief asks what I am, play dumb. I'll handle escorting our guests. I'll probably take them to the venue, so wait patiently, everyone.
Wonder if he'll cave. Keiji Maibara, that is.
From what I've seen, was it for tomorrow or the day after that? Or the day after in that regard. It'll be easy. No foo foo foo. Don't you just love how Keiichi is always the bait?
Always the bait. He's always the bait. He always loses his mind, and he always ends up like dying in some horrific way. And I'm so excited.
I love Keiichi.
Keiichi's fucking incredible.